to another daily chat with Andy the Gabby Cabby. Excuse me, I'm just having a bit of a malfunction here. The damn thing won't hold still. Oh, there we go. I think that's got it just about. Yes, we've got a few people in the chat already. Hope everyone's okay. That's no bloody good. You can't see my boat race at all there, can you? Let's try this. Yay, that's better. Just I have to stoop down a little bit, but you got me. Well, let's see what we got, shall we? I've had a busy day. You saw I was out late last night. I was up at the same place again today. It really has been a mad one. Alan Pape, good to see you. Alan Edge, the two Allens, Julie Keys, Tanner Family Memories is there. Hello, Julie Baldwin. Hope you're okay. Trevor, good to see you. Cosmic War Toad, Chrissy Williams, hello to you. Hope you're well. John Harrington. Who else have we got? Blood Nose, hello to you. Matt Walton, hello to you. Keith James, John Harris, Seth78, Fern Wright. I done that bloody thing that I used to do with your name, didn't I? Sorry about that. Angie Etheridge, hello to you. Lorna McKenzie, and a silver top too. Oh, and hello, Anna Perkins, who's just come into the chat. Hope you're all okay as well. Yes, I've had a bit of a busy day. I was on the road for about 12 or 13 hours yesterday, and I had another one to do today. So I'm rather pooped, to be honest, but I'm not going to miss coming out and saying hello to you fine people. I ended up at the old Vampire this morning as well, otherwise known as the nice lady that takes the blood out of your arm, and she had a couple of vials of the claret out of me. And I'll have to tell you what happens about that a bit later on, if and when I find out anything. But I'm sure I'm all right. They're just checking things are all in the right places, of course. And let's get on with proceedings. Did you see that idiot politician in the news come out this morning? I forget her name, but I just thought, what an idiot. Her response to the cost of living crisis is get a better job. Get a better job that pays more. Oh, as if they grow on trees. A bit like that magic money tree in the garden of 10 Downing Street, which you used to send money to everywhere apart from the people that actually need it, your own people in your own country. That's very nice of you. I think she fucked that up right royally there somehow, and she's going to live to regret saying those things, hopefully with her seat at the next general election, but we will see. Hello, Seth78. Good to see you. Yes, all work more hours. Well, I do probably 60 hours a week as it is. And I kind of don't get that, because life is a struggle for all right now. And you have to wonder. I mean, I'm looking at some of the news here today, and it's only going to get worse, I feel. But I've got a suspicion in my head that this is all going towards this, new world that we're supposed to be living in, coming to a place near you soon. And you have to wonder, is all this going that way? I mean, I was devastated earlier to learn that one of my favourite food intakes will be going up to possibly about £1.50 each, and that's a Greggs sausage roll. My son likes those as well. I mean, listen to this. Greggs sausage roll price could go up to £1.50 as cost of living crisis hits homes. This is from the CEO of Greggs, Roger Whiteside, warns that some products may have to go up 10% in the near future. I mean, I love a good Greggs sausage roll. You get the old packs of 4 of them, and you can take them home, and bloody delicious. I can't be doing with that vegan nonsense, but each to their own. The price of Greggs sausage rolls could go up to £1.50 as the cost of living crisis continues to bite. I'd rather bite a sausage roll personally. It comes after the fast food chain warned of increasing costs in an update to shareholders. It also said customers will be feeling the squeeze, something that could cause them to tighten their belts. Well, if you put your prices up too much. Mike Owens, a UK sales trader at Saxo Markets, has warned that items such as the sausage roll could surge in price. Mr. Owens, Greggs today reported a 27% growth in sales in the first 19 weeks. So they're going to put the prices up on that basis. Okay, all right. In a solid earnings statement that met market expectations, O become the latest company to confirm that prices will likely rise due to cost pressures which affect consumers firsthand. As the UK is gripped by the rising cost of living, CEO Roger Whiteside warned that some products may go up by 10% in the future, which could see sausage rolls go up to £1.50, something that looks to become a new normal as wholesale food prices surge. Cost of raw materials and labour are rising fast for the bakery, and this could be a difficult issue for a value proposition like Greggs, who will want to retain their bargaining credentials. Well, labour costs aren't going up, are they? That's the problem. That's why we're all bleeding well struggling. Another concern for the Newcastle-based chain is its drop in sales in larger cities and office locations, something that can worsen over time as the idea of a 4-day working week is tested. 4-day week, ooh. And thousands continue to work from home in the long term. He continued, the country now faces the prospect of daily staple Greggs becoming more of an infrequent luxury purchase for some. However, their position as one of the lower cost eating options means we would expect the chain to benefit as customers are forced to turn away from more expensive options. However, balancing market share opportunities with margin protection is likely to be a big challenge for Greggs. And this just goes on and on and on with more bloody techno barble. And it's the net result is your sausage roll's going to go up to £1.50. Very nice sausage roll it is too, but I have to see. Here, I've just seen Nigel the Handyman pop in to the chat. Hello, Nigel the Handyman. And I call you out specifically because I saw that you actually signed up as a Cabby Level 1 member at the end of the chat yesterday, and I missed the opportunity to say thank you very much for your support. It's really appreciated, and cheers for doing that. Yeah, I mean, Greggs is a very mild example, isn't it? I mean, everything, including these things and everything else, is going to go up. I mean, we still, of course, have that thing with the gas and electricity. And you saw the video I did on Martin Lewis earlier, I take it. Hi, Mum. See you in the chat where he branded Ofgem a fucking disgrace. He apologised on Twitter later on, and I thought, why did you do that, Martin? They are a fucking disgrace. So I will say it for you if you don't want to and not apologise. I'm quite happy to give offence. That's absolutely fine on that basis. I mean, here's another one, right? Where are we? Something from the Bank of England. The chief warns apocalyptic food and energy prices are coming. Oh, really? I thought they were already here. Fuck's sake. I mean, it's, you know, the governor of the Bank of England has warned there's a very real income shock coming from energy prices and apocalyptic food prices, but stood by the bank's policy decisions. Well, if they're costing us more frickin' money, they're not working, are they? I think we're all going to need our own veggie patch after not too long. Andrew Bailey said he felt helpless as he defended the Bank of England's monetary policy despite households being battered by soaring inflation. Well, if you're helpless and can't help us, you're fired. Can't see any fairer than that. Mr. Bailey told MPs at the Treasury Select Committee on Monday that UK customers is expected to cause higher unemployment. The Office for National Statistics recorded inflation at 7% in March, and later this year it's expected to unveil over 8% inflation for last month. This is getting ridiculous, isn't it? The Bank of England has said inflation is likely to peak at 10.25% during the final quarter of 2022. The main driver of this and what brings it down is the very big real income shock which is coming from outside forces, and particularly energy prices and global food prices at the moment. Mr. Bailey told MPs. That will have an impact on domestic demand and it will dampen activity. And I'm afraid it looks like it will increase unemployment. He told the committee that we're walking a very narrow path between surging inflation and risks to growth. The governor stressed that the war in Ukraine has resulted in an unpredictable jump in inflation, highlighting that there's a major worry over further rises in food prices due to the conflict. The Ukrainian finance minister said that there is food in store, but they can't get it out, he told MPs. While he was optimistic about crop planting as a major supplier of wheat and cooking oil, he said we have no way of shipping it out and it's getting worse. It's a major worry for this country and a major worry for the developing world. Sorry for being apocalyptic, but this is a major concern. In March, UK food inflation increased by 5.9% and is expected to accelerate in the coming months. Michael Saunders, who sits on the bank's monetary policy committee, and he believes tighter monetary policy would have done little to alter the current state of inflation. Mr. Bailey also told MPs that he does not think the bank could have done anything differently to avoid the sharp price rises. There's been a series of supply shocks, most recently with the impact of the war, Russian invasion of Ukraine. We can't predict for things like wars. That's not in anybody's powers. I mean, I'd agree with that last line. I mean, in December, I put my prices up. I didn't know there was going to be a war in Ukraine and everything was going to go fucking sky high. So I had to put everything up again. Who knew? It's crazy world we're living in. Listen, everybody, this is the Daily Chat with Andy the Gabby Cabby. Hope you're doing all right. Thank you for joining me this evening. If you haven't done so already, please give me a thumbs up. Let's get them cracking up nearer the same number of people that are watching. I appreciate that. And if you're new here and only just started watching the channel, I hope you'll consider subscribing to us as well. We do these chats every day, the lives, and try and get a little bit of content out as well. As you see earlier, I did a couple of things. One about the dinghy divers and one about Martin Lewis swearing at Ofgem. I thought that was marvellous. That really pleased me, that did. No end. Let's have a quick look at the chat, shall we, and see what people are saying about certain things. Adrian Bradley, they'll put the price up and reduce the size as others have done. Yeah, I mean, you've seen the size of a box of Quality Street over the years. They reduce the calorie content of packs of crisps by reducing the packet size. Same price, common tactic for the past few years. Oh, yeah. I think my missus opened a packet of crisps. I can't remember when it was. She was like, what the hell's this? Open the crisps. There's fuck all in there. You could probably a mouthful and you're finished. Shell stacking cool as you get to go all over the place where I work. Okay. US and NATO putting soldiers on the border of Estonia. That's be joyful. Yeah, I saw them bloody sabre rattling in there. Like a Greg's data. I remember that bloody fuss that Morgan made about, that fella that doesn't get any viewers on his new show, about the old veggie sausage roll. How can you use the words veggie and sausage in the same? But they do that. I wonder if the price of that will go up. Andy's mum, Jean, did Andy take you to the airport for your trip to Turin? Pass. Iceland sell frozen Greggs, cheaper way to buy them. That's a very valid point, Nigel, the handyman. I mean, all these things like Greggs and everything, they're convenience food, aren't they, at the end of the day? And people are just going to go for cheaper alternatives. And you mentioned one of them, Iceland. I mean, I was in there the other day for something, and, freezer fulls of just about everything. I don't see any boat people working at Greggs. James Carney says, well, according to the news today, there's 2,000 of them sitting over there waiting to come over, and I'm sure more will come in. Yeah, veggie patches, blunder. My old man's got veggie patches. He grows spuds, runner beans, and all sorts of stuff. He's well into it. The boat people still coming in their thousands every day. Andy, please keep posting about this. Oh, I will, Chrissy Williams, I will. I mean, I did that video earlier where they were saying that the levels of, well, let's call them boat people to be politically correct, dinghy divers, uh, is higher at this point this year than it was last year. It's doubled. So is that going to happen the year after? It is literally population replacement in another vein. It's ridiculous. Uh, Alan Pape reductions are my favourite job. I've just done that third one at 7 p.m. Yeah, my boy works at Tesco's, my eldest lad, and he gets a load of free stuff sometimes, like bread or stuff that needs going. It's pretty much they can just help themselves. I mean, he come home with, I think, 4 French sticks the other day. I thought, Christ, I like this. He's not come home with any free booze yet. He's probably drunk that before he gets home, I suppose. I wouldn't call Greg's a basic staple for food. For me, it's luxury items, but nowadays it's similar price to cook a sausage roll at home. Exactly, Matt. That's what people will start doing more of. I mean, you look at something like the pub. You know, you go and have a pint in a pub. It's well, 4 or 5, sometimes £6 or £7 for a pint. You could buy 8 cans for that. It's false economy, really. It really is. Hello, Bridget. Good to see you. As usual, the politicians and local councillors will be living it up and wasting our tax money while telling us to tighten our belts. Fucking joke, isn't it? And it's becoming more and more apparent. Are you there, Grumpy's mum? Alan Edge says, yeah, she's here. She's here. That's all good. Where else have we got? A different videographer with opinions. That's Alan. Sure, you could get a portable device to keep the Greggs warm. Cooked via a car battery, Siggy lighter connection. 8 for £4.50 at Iceland, even cheaper with a deal. Well, there you go. That's somebody else that's mentioned Iceland, very much so. And it's all good. I mean, that's what's going to happen, isn't it? We're going to find cheaper alternatives all over. Hi, Trevor. Good to see you. Who's this? I don't know. Andy, my friend David, had his ID stolen. Now we call him Dav. Very good, Alan. I like it. Curly Whirly, 3p. Yes, I remember when they were a lot cheaper than they are now. In a lifetime veggie, I don't want to buy anything called... I'm a lifetime veggie, and I don't want to buy anything called meat, anything. Well, you know, okay. I mean, somebody mentioned politicians and living it up while we're all suffering. We'll get a load of this one. Where are we? Yes, Rishi Sunak, Rishi himself, piling the pressure on British families with £7.5 billion stealth tax raid. Oh, there's that word again, stealth. The cost of living crisis has already gnawed through workers' pay increases, and now families will be coughing up even more. Like, fuck, we will. Stealth taxes will cost Britons more than £7.5 billion this year, as inflation spirals and tax brackets are frozen in place. There's got to be a way around all this. I refuse to believe that we're all shafted. The cost of living crisis has already gnawed through workers' pay increases, and now families will be coughing up even more. As people's pay packets increase in line with skyrocketing prices, are they? I hadn't noticed. More workers will be dragged into higher tax bands. Yes, there's that old adage again. More money equals more tax. Brits are also having to pay higher levels of inheritance tax and stamp duty as property prices rise, as the thresholds on those taxes are also frozen. The Centre for Economics and Business Research has found these tax threshold freezes will cost families a grand sum of £7.5 billion. The frozen income tax brackets will earn the Treasury an extra £40 billion by the 2025-2026 financial year, according to the CEBR. 20% of workers will be in the top tax band by the next general election, due to the threshold freeze and rising wages, as reported yesterday in the Sunday Times. They're trying to shaft us any which way they can, aren't they? Former Tory leader Ian Duncan Smith said we have to cut taxes now. The only way to resolve the tough situation that households find themselves in is to cut taxes. I'm afraid that isn't the only way, City, and I think they're working on something else in the back room there somewhere, but there you go. Our system has delivered more tax revenue to the government than we ever anticipated. We don't need to raise national insurance. We need to put some money back into people's pockets. Not just some, a fair bit. Mr. Duncan Smith warned the economy could be stung by a cocktail of modest growth and high inflation, otherwise known as stagflation. Has anybody ever heard of stagflation? The government is stuck in the ludicrous treasury orthodoxy, bloody hell, that's a big word, thinking that every time they cut taxes, they need to cut spending somewhere. But they have headroom, Mr. Duncan Smith said. During the 2022-2023 financial year, families will fork out another 3.1 billion in income tax, according to the CEBR. In a warning from the Bank of England, inflation will soon top 10%, which is what we discussed, a rate not seen in 40 years. In an atypical assault on the Bank of England's means of tackling the crisis, Business Secretary Kwasi Kwarteng complained that it was an issue that the bank had not curbed high inflation. Inflation is currently at 7%, 5% higher than the 2%. Wow, 5% add 2% is 7%. At least he can add, unlike that Diane. So again, another article saying that, we're in the shit, I suppose, is the way we comprehend that. It's going to get tougher. I mean, I remember stories of, the early 80s where things were tough with higher interest rates and all this sort of thing. I think we're heading for that, if not worse. It's a crazy situation to be in. This is a daily chat with Andy the Gabby Cabby, everybody. Please hit the thumbs up if you haven't done so already. Let's get those likes up to something like 3 figures where we like them to be. I'd appreciate that. If you've only just started watching the channel as well and you like what you see, I hope you do, please consider subscribing to us as well. And that will give our numbers a boost. We're, I think, 30,600 and something, kind of teetering on the brink around there somewhere. And it would be nice to get to 31,000 sometime soon, but that's up to you guys, isn't it? And we're on social media as well. You can find us over there. And as I gave Nigel the handyman a shout out for joining the channel memberships, if you want to stick a quid in the tin, so to speak, you can do that also. No commitments or any ties at all. It just a case of every little helps. And a shout out to everybody that's done that so far every month, and I appreciate your support as well. And we, there's the odd members video here and there where I give you a little bit of private behind the scenes stuff that's going on. Anyway, let's have another look at the chitter chatter and see what people are having to say. All being well, I'll be getting free food from next Wednesday. Andy the Gabby Cabby. That's that stop your diabetes diet, isn't it? That you were telling me about. M. Perry, haven't seen Factual Breakdown for a while. Hope everything's okay. M. Perry, I had an email of Factual Breakdown a week ago. And she's got a lot of, shit going on in her personal life at the moment that's taken her away from here. So, that's all she can say. She did duck in one of these chats the other day, but had to leave again just as quick. 5 quid for a pint or 5 quid for 4 cans. Something's wrong somewhere. Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. Oh, God, I went to my local boozer a week ago and I couldn't believe it. I'm not going back. You went in, walk up to the bar. Gav, I want a pint. I wouldn't serve you. You had to go and sit down and wait for some pleb with a tablet with an order app on it to come up and speak to you and then order your pint. It was table service only. They all had the bloody bra muzzles on. They wouldn't let you go anywhere near the bar. What fucking hell, what's this? Jumping back in time 18 months. We're not going there again, needless to say. We'll go somewhere else, a proper pub. I know through the supply chain we're trying to push one-touch carriers for the more heavy items to help in-store replay, but not everyone gets the ideas behind them. Says 78. I just eat biscuits now. Only 36p a packet. Paul Hoskin. How the hell can you get nutrition out of a biscuit? I know you could have like a bourbon or a custard cream or a jammy dodger and get a bit of variety, but that, Paul, that's the thing, isn't it? If you're reduced to eating 36p packet biscuits, then something really is amiss there somewhere. It really is. Remember when baked bean cans were 9p a tin? Steve H says, I remember you could get them out of Aldi's for about that. I mean, there was a bit of a taste difference. But yeah, I do remember blackjacks or fruit salads for a penny. I used to love blackjacks. You eat one of them and say, "Come here and stick your tongue out." It's really is good. Hi, the real Pollyanna. Good to see you. Hope you're all okay. See you in the chat there. Thank you for joining us. We're just talking about economics this evening and about what's going on in the world, including Martin Lewis telling Ofgem they're a fucking disgrace. I loved that. I really did, as you can probably tell. My benefits have gone up by 149 quid a week in real terms, Bridget says. But how much of that are you really seeing? Really. Jamboree bags, 3p. Jesus. I mean, we are going back in time here, aren't we? Jubblies, 2p. My soup and shakes diet starts next week, all being well for my diabetes, just waiting for them to phone me. Excellent. I sued the airline for losing my luggage. I lost my case, Alan H says. Thank you very much, Alan. But why not people like the council tax, etc.? Thieving, bloating, parasites. My tax equals more give. Yeah, you're probably right there. There is a thing. I saw a letter going round that where you can forbid councils and that using your tax money to wage war on people and acts of terrorism and stuff. I'll have to dig it out somewhere. Talking about that, we have priorities with regard to paying things, don't we? We've got to look after ourselves and our families first and foremost. We've got to put food on the table. We've got to heat and light. I know I'm preaching to the choir here, but it's basic stuff. And then you branch out and you have other things like credit cards and loans for things. And, you're getting a bit of trouble with council tax. And sooner or later it may end up with a bailiff somewhere. And then because you don't know what's going on up here, you end up paying out money that you might not necessarily have to, which is taking that important money away from feeding and clothing your kids and everything else. And I've copped some flack for this in the comments, putting videos out. I don't fucking care, to be honest. I think it's hilarious. It just shows me that people aren't in the know about this subject. Oh, don't pay your bills. Oh, piss off. Yes, pay your bills, but if you get to a point you're in trouble and you end up with one of these illegal bailiffs who were taking your money under false pretenses, or your car, like this poor lady ended up losing the other day, you need weapons to fight with, so you can, keep some more of your money to put on the things that really matter, like food and heat and light. It's basic survival at the end of the day, and we're entering this world where we've got to work out how to look after ourselves and make these people a bit worse off, don't you think? Daphne Lynch, good evening. Hello to you. Nicholas, hello to you. Who's that? Lona993, hello to you. Stagflation is when it becomes too dear, Paul Hoskins says. Okay. I don't think I'd heard that term before, but thank you for educating me. Used to do that years ago, split the food. You have to help each other when you're all in the same place. The real Pollyanna says, absolutely. I think that's what's going to happen. Yes, I did buffer at some point. I know I did. I ended up disconnecting. Hello, Rafi. Good to see you in there. Uh, Elon Musk says we're going to Mars, so everything is okay. Yeah, James, we're going to spread our shit to another planet. God help them. That's probably what that magic secret door's for in there, isn't it? So they can escape into another universe, but it's only about 2 centimeters tall. Andy, it's £1.49. It's gone up after working things out. That doesn't even get 4 pints a minute. Yeah, disgusting, isn't it? I've asked 3 times for a resend of my CT bill as it's lost. 3 times they've ignored me. Have overpaid twice in order not to get the wrong side. Okay. Is that the council direct, I take it, Anna? There is an ombudsman that governs everything that they do. Maybe it might be worth threatening them with that. Billy No Mates. Angela Dallimore saying hello to Billy No Mates. There can't be a Billy No Mates in here. No way, we're all mates. In my neighbourhood, half the people are still wearing muzzles. Ontario government still mandates them for hospitals and medical clinics. It's a case of spot the mask wearer in Birkenhead. Life has got back to normal. That's good to hear. We're getting there slowly. You could get 8 blackjacks or fruit salads for a penny when I was a kid. Yeah, that's the days, isn't it? We didn't leave the EU to sign up to WHO treaty. Really, we'd be out the frying pan into the fire. I read that one earlier, Tony. That looked, my local MP put on his Twitter that he's getting people writing to him saying, what the fuck? What's going on? And my MP's like, well, yes, you may have a point here. I'm going to ask the question. I bet they won't make that public. Christine Ayres, back to work for me as I've been slacking. See you guys tomorrow. See you later, Christine. Fuzzy Doxy is asking, what's blackjacks? Liquish. Well, yeah, kinda. Let me see if I can find it on here. Give me a minute. Just in case you're not quite sure. Black Jack Sweet. I'll just do a quick search. Images. I'll show you a picture of them. Come on. That's a blackjack. Now, if you eat that, your tongue will turn black. And they used to taste very nice. We had fruit salads as well. Sweets here that have been around for years. Where else are we? Yeah. I remember when baked beans were just beans. Yeah. Tony Whitworth. Yes, we're on the same page. Saw somebody jogging wearing them. That makes me laugh, John Harrington. That really does. Oh my God, thank God I live by the seaside and close enough that if a pub wanted to pull that one, I can walk out, get a 4 or 6 pack and sit on the beach and get sozzled. One of my friends said they paid over £10 for a pint of beer this weekend. Jesus, where the hell was that? Biscuits with worms in, what sailors used to eat. Yeah, I remember that. Jerry Georgopoulos, any news on your vehicle repair? Hopefully the end of the week. Hopefully it will be the end of the week, but it's got to be because I've got 5 people I've got to get from Stansted Airport on Sunday. Fingers crossed, otherwise we might have a problem there. Michael Lawrence, good to see you. Hello. Yep, I will, Chrissy, when we're next in communication. Get referred today. That's excellent. This is a daily chat with Andy the Gabby Cabby, everybody. Obviously we do this every day, as you well know. Welcome to everybody who's just joined us. If you could do so, and if you could be ever so kind, could you please give the chat a thumbs up? Let's get that up near the ton before we end proceedings this evening. And also please subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. That'd be cool. And you can catch up with all things Andy the Gabby Cabby. And as I said, we do this every day. We have other bits and pieces on social media here, there and everywhere. and you can catch up with us there as well, and that is all good. Yes, thank you very much, everybody, for your support, the subscribers, the channel members, and everybody that contributes in any way they can to the channel. It's all very much appreciated. Now, I nearly got a gate crasher this evening. I went to come out to do the live, and Jack said, "Daddy, can I come onto your live?" I said no. I felt mean, but it's a school night, and I thought that might be pushing it just a little bit. So I kind of put my dad-sized foot down and said, "No, you can't. I might be in trouble when I go back indoors." But we'll have to see about that. I have to get him back out because he was giving everyone a karate lesson the other night when he got his orange belt. I think he was quite pleased with that. I'll tell you, this bloody thing was freezing cold when I come in here. It's warm now. I looked at our Cadbury's Whispers and remembered the size and the price and the wrapper. I miss the old days, absolutely. I mean, they have the standard size Whisper now, don't they? And then they have the Whisper Duo, and they think they're doing you a favour by giving you a bigger chocolate bar, which is probably smaller than the original one from years back. Andy, do your sons want to be cabbies? Be Joyful asks. Well, my eldest son has actually got an apprenticeship with an accountancy firm, which he starts. Oh, bloody hell. I think he starts in August, from memory. I might be wrong. And my young Jack, who you all met, he keeps saying, "Daddy, can I drive a taxi so I can help you?" Well, you're a bit young yet. I'm hoping that he's got a lot going on upstairs, and he'll be going places when he's older. That's what I'm hoping, but who knows? We've got another 10 or so years to work that one out before he comes of age, and I feel really old, and we see where he's going with his life. But that's one of those things. I want to go back to the 90s. I could afford things then. Yeah, different time there, wasn't it? I mean, I grew up in the 80s and the 90s. I mean, how old was I in 1998? I was 20 years old in 1998. There you go. I just gave my age away, but most of you probably worked that out already, didn't you? I'll tell you what. One of the things that we often talk about is the police and crimes. And Alan, hang on, Andy, do you remember wagon wheels when they were as big as your hand? Oh yeah, I do. Oh, I certainly do. Now they're as big as, well, a couple of fingers probably. It's not that great. Yeah, diverting away from politics and the cost of living and everything. We often talk about the police and our perception of what's going on, and people super glue themselves to petrol tankers and things, and the police stand there and do nothing. We have the CPS making things a lot longer and a lot more complicated than they really need to be. And it's a complete disaster, basically. And there's certain parts of this country of ours that are turning into a lawless land. And they try and put a sticking plaster over the issue, don't they, all the time? And one of those is the invention of a PCSO, a police community support officer. I mean, you have PCSOs signing up all the time, thinking they're going to do the right thing for the community and all the rest of it. And they don't have any powers of arrest or anything meaningful like that, do they, to do the job of a copper? I always used to call them cut price coppers, but I'll show you a picture now. I don't know if you recognise this lady. Let me just get her up there. Yeah, do you recognise her? Was in the news several months ago. Well, she was a PCSO, and she was off duty walking her dog, and she was beaten to death by a man wielding a railway jack while she was walking her dog. I remember this very well. The guy's name is Callum Wheeler, and he murdered Julia James, that's the lady whose picture I just showed you, in Snowdon, Kent, on April the 27th last year. This is the guy here. I remember this picture out of the time. There he is. That's Callum Wheeler. I think they knew fairly quickly who they were looking for. And the story goes, a PCSO was murdered by a man using a railway jack while walking her dog. Callum Wheeler from Aylsham in Kent admitted killing Julia James on April the 27th last year, but denied murdering her. Well, if you killed her, then what else did you do? I don't get these fucking people. I really don't. The 53-year-old was beaten to death as she walked her Jack Russell, Toby, in the countryside near her home in Snowdon, Kent. In closing speeches on Monday at Canterbury Crown Court, prosecutor Alison Morgan QC told the court this defendant was an angry, violent, strange, highly sexualised man. There is no mental health defence available to him. The jury of 8 women and 4 men took less than 1 hour and 10 minutes to find Callum Wheeler guilty of murdering Julia James. Wheeler did not react when the guilty verdict was delivered. When asked to stand to hear the verdict, Wheeler did not stand himself, but was instead held up by members of the staff in the dock. He did not walk into the dock on Monday morning or after lunch, but was instead carried in. Prosecutors alleged that Wheeler waited in Ackholt Wood near Aylsham on April the 27th last year and intended to kill a lone woman when he got the chance. So it sounds like it was a chancer. He had been seen in that location a number of times before and had walked around the area carrying the railway jack that he ultimately used as the weapon. The jury of 8 women and 4 men heard that Wheeler hit her head repeatedly and intended to cause her at least really serious harm. Well, he certainly did that. She's dead. Miss Morgan said the attack on Julia James was not a momentary and spontaneous act of violence by his defendants. She told jurors he planned the attack over many days and weeks. She added he knew those woods, members of the jury. He knew that people walked dogs in those woods. He knew that if he waited for the right moment, there'd be a lone female when nobody else was around where he could commit this attack. So she wasn't a targeted victim personally. It was the fact she was a lone woman on her own, by the sound of it, made her a victim of this violent attack, which ultimately cost her life. Wheeler denied murdering her, but admitted killing her. I still struggle to see the difference. Maybe he's trying to go for some kind of manslaughter thing. I don't know. Miss Morgan told the jury what he intended was clear and obvious. She told the jury before, during, and after this attack, there is the clearest possible evidence of what this defendant intended. Ms. Morgan said that when Mrs. James saw Wheeler, she ran for her life to get away from him, adding no doubt as fast as she possibly could, wearing Wellingtons, caught by surprise, her heart rate surging. She told jurors it was an attack involving stages, the defendant allegedly handling her body before repeating blows to the head. Mrs. James had some of the most serious head injuries ever seen by the pathologist involved in, examining her afterwards. I should imagine that's quite a... The prosecutor said there was not just one blow, but it was again and again and again. How could he have intended anything else but to cause her at least really serious harm? She added. Wheeler had searched for porn and the term on his computer in the days before the killing, the jury heard. In the moments after Mrs. James's death, Wheeler began thinking about how to cover it up, the court was told. In those moments after he had killed Julia, the defendant was present and thinking about covering up the blood that he could see next to her head. And he was thinking about how he could get away from the scene, how he could cover up the weapon. The railway jack was wrapped in plastic bags soon after Mrs. James's death, the court heard. Miss Morgan told the jury the Wheeler began game playing in the days after the attack, running away when challenged by local gamekeeper Gabby Cabby, and when spotted in a field by a police officer, He was also searched for the news articles about the investigation. On arrest, Wheeler exposed himself to female officers and tried a bit of the old in front of them, telling one member of staff that Mrs. James deserved to die. He also said that he would go back to the woods and do it again. For the defence, Oliver Blunt QC told the jury that through his not guilty plea, effectively, he did not have the level of intent required. Mr. Blunt QC said he was 21 at the time and had no previous convictions or cautions recorded against him. He told the court that Wheeler's behaviour before and after the killing did not make sense, and the railway jack was unwieldy and difficult to conceal as a weapon. Describing the attack, Mr. Blunt said this appears to be a completely motiveless, random, senseless, inexplicable incident. He told the jury that they must decide, did Mr. Wheeler have the clarity of purpose on April the 27th to form the intent to kill or do serious harm, or was it simply a question of it doing some harm at least? Well, in my view, he intended to do the unthinkable to somebody. I think that she was just a random victim of choice, that she was female and met the characteristics that he was after. And unfortunately, she paid with her life. And I hope that he gets the full book thrown at him. This gentleman here is Paul James. Paul James, that's her husband, and my condolences and heartfelt wishes to him and the rest of the family. It must be a hell of a horrible time knowing that that's happened, really. The Fritz Report given us a £2 super chat. Thank you very much for the support. A couple of cans of Coke for you and a fruit salad. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Listen, everybody, I'm going to wrap things up for tonight. I want to thank you all for joining us once again. If you haven't done so already, please make sure you do this on the way out of the chat. Hit the thumbs up. Let's try and get the ton up before we go. Hello, Blue Neeson. Unfortunately, we're just going. So you've kind of missed the chat for the evening. If you haven't done so already and you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing as well. I appreciate that. And, you know, we'll try and get those numbers up. We are on social media, so you can follow us on there too, if you can. I know a lot of you are very anti the old social media with Facebook and Twitter and that, but if you are on there, come on, find us and follow us. That'd be good. We are trying to find some time to get some t-shirts and stuff done because people have been asking about them all the time. So we're in the process of trying to do that. What else can I tell you? We have the channel memberships that people have signed up for, the old £1 a month in the Coke tin. So I appreciate all the supporters there. And of course, all the subscribers and everyone else that contributes to the channel as well. Tomorrow, there'll be some more content out. I'm off to Gatwick Airport early, of all places. And then I'll get some stuff done when I come back. And there will, of course, be another live stream in the evening. So enjoy what's left. And until tomorrow, toodaloo, folks.